Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Last Days of Europe with me, Avalanche, and Greater Germanic Reich. So in the last episode we have done the military reforms which tanked our yearly deficit from 20 billion to 29.85 billion, increasing the deficit from comfy 4.8% to over 8, actually nearly 8.2. But as far as our real GDP growth remains around 12, we should still be able to lower the debt. Now, we made some plans to do the reforms of the Waffe next. But once we have the investments done, I'm gonna go with Guiding Hand and then Europe's Dream, hoping that we can get some pretty good results here, which would increase the GDP growth of many of our, sulfur iron members. Then we're gonna go with Volksaktien. Then there's the possibility to go either with for us or for all. I think we're going to go for all, which is going to increase the GDP growth of our sulfur iron members by 1.15% and 1.5 for us instead of the 2.5, which would be strictly for us. And then we're going to go with Made in Germany, which is going to help with quite a lot of things. Our poverty rate will skyrocket. I'm looking forward to that. And we're gonna get an even Made in Germany. So yeah, this is still gonna cost quite a lot, but it's gonna help the sulfur iron significantly. And I'm looking forward to that. Plus the poverty rate is already dropping by 0.43% per month, and that translates directly to our income tax, which we need to increase as much as possible. Okay, with that said, I think we can unpause and continue. I haven't done much in the way of military reform in the previous episode, but we're going to look into it a bit more now. Now we have the Panzer Division here. I think we can... wait, okay, no. The boot is on the other foot. The game is telling me... Okay, we have a choice here. Vessel was thrust to his knees. Oh, is this the continuation of the Pfeffel? I think it's... Oh, Felfa chain. Vessel was thrust to his knees in the clearing, clogged with mud from the boots of fighting men. Chernobyl had lit another cigarette and was inspecting the corpse of one of his fallen men. Despite their ferocity, for the 5 dead Ukrainians, not one attacker's body had been found. Felfa lay at the edge of the clearing, blood already caking his shirt. "We were expecting you, Vessel." Despite his best effort, Despite his best effort, Gerhard started at the... Oh, started! It was like Gerhard gets... startled. That's probably started? Is that the past tense? Never heard it used that way. Gerhard started at the use of his name. Chernobyl rose and gestured to his men to let a vessel stand. Felfa told us many things. He knew you would come after him eventually. You spent too much time chasing corpses, Mr. Vessel. Chernobyl smirked. Despite Vessel's strained expression, he knew he had struck a nerve. This was undoubtedly not what Gerhard had predicted. Felfa had revealed infinitely more than he expected, and something not out of incompetence. I will admit, I did not expect this attack. I presume it was not your doing, yes? Gerhard scowled. It would be smart to remain alive, and it would be smarter still to understand why he was allowed to remain alive. Yes. Chernobyl stood eye to eye with Gerhard. You are a smart man, Vessel. Felfa told us this. You understand the way the world works. I will let you live, regardless. You are useful this way. Will you do something for me if I do something for you? Tell me what the hell Felfa was doing here. I could turn a blind eye if you tell me what's going on. This will have unintended consequences. Okay, tell me what the hell Felfa was doing here. We'll see what that's all about. And speaking of the reform, we're gonna take the Panzer Division and I'm gonna duplicate it and call this Mechanisiert Division. I hope this is the correct name. and save it. I'm gonna change the symbol. And it kind of sucks because there's no default symbol, huh? Okay, but let it be like this for now. I'm gonna put it here and I'm gonna start working with it. So we definitely need to remove the mobile battalion and put the APC there instead. That was something that I know we wanted. Defense, but breakthrough is increased and soft attack and hard attack. Yep. So let's change this to APC. We need to put the White Recon Company there. Okay. Medevac Company, that would be 35 XP already. Jesus. AFVs, soft attack, hard attack and defense. What if you went just like this? 2 AFVs here. 22, 26. The APCs. This would be further. Okay, I would kind of like it like this, but we would also need to change the. No, we'll definitely need the maintenance company there. We're gonna get rid of the artillery though. Let's instead get the air assault company, and the engineers can be changed to armored engineers. So we need 85 XP for that. But this is gonna be good. What about the organization of 37? If I switch to you for a single company, oh, that wouldn't do anything. Okay, no need then. This would be good. Okay, so let's do it like this. And this means main battle tanks, APCs, and AFVs, and armored cars as the Light Recon Company. The maintenance company, the average reliability bonus 15% is pretty decent. Okay, so I'm happy with this. We need 85 XP for that. Stymied. The Rijksnachrichtendienst does not negotiate with terrorists. Tell. Chernobyl bellowed with laughter, wiping his eyes. He chuckled. Is that so? Then there's no point in you staying here. Go and be a thorn in someone else's ass. Chernobyl headed back to the tunnel. The remaining men scowled at the vessel, but undeterred, he approached Felfa's body. The blood had long since soaked his shirt. Anyone could tell the man was dead. More peculiar still, however, was why he was targeted, and by whom. Whoever was responsible had no concerns about shooting Ukrainians, and while the local resistance was prone to infighting, there was seemingly nothing to prompt a focused attack such as this. Vessel began to search Felfa's pockets. Someone knows something. Huh. I actually didn't expect that this would lead this way, but okay, fine. I guess I made my choice. Okay, we lowered the debt by additional 0.2%. It's good enough. Okay, deficit dropped. Real GDP growth dropped. A way out. A map. Felfa had an escape plan, though evidently one not quite as good as he needed. The map, hastily scrawled onto the back of a napkin, seemed to indicate a clearing several miles away. Without a word, the vessel turned his back to the tunnels and began a rapid jog. Gerhard's jog turned to a sprint when he heard the whirring of helicopter blades. Reaching the edge of the clearing, he was buffeted by the downdraft of the racing machine. He braced himself and looked to the skies. While the helicopter bore no identifying symbol, it was of a make and model he was very familiar with. The BO-105 was the helicopter of choice for the Rijksnachrichtendienst. Too late to do more than watch, Vessel cursed the slowness. All that remained in the clearing was a pile of camouflage netting. The conclusion was obvious, however. Someone in the R&D was manipulating the Ukrainian resistance and like with others across the Reich, someone who knew why Reichsbanner was here. I have to get back to Germania. Well, this is interesting. So now we can invest in the synthetic oils. So let's do that. And we finished the remote controlled autocannons. So now let's get the nuclear, biological, and chemical protection, defense, reliability, bonus, and a bit of production cost. Special protective measures designed to protect a vehicle crew from even in hospitable environments. Oh wow, look at that. Definitely pretty good. Definitely pretty good. Okay, how's the economic sphere? Ukrainian National Republic nearing to 13 billion. Finland, war, Netherlands, and military berserker Rusland now over 10 billion. Military state Madagascar 590 million. And I'm really feeling sorry for you. We're leaving you behind. We should do something with the military state. Free civilian factories, okay. Turns out not that many places left here. So this is Hungary, this is Slovakia. I'm interested in upgrading mine before we do anyone else. This is Ostland, we're done with this one. That's Vipuri. Let's upgrade here. Okay, actually do more here. These boost GDP growth, which is why we need as many of them as we can. Okay, army expenditures actually dropped to 25 billion. Okay, new skies for old eagles. The Luftwaffe was one of the main protagonists in the war that saw the Reich triumph. From the Battle of England to the scoring of the Soviet Union, Messerschmitts, Stukas, Heinkos, and many, many more became the bane of those foolish enough to oppose the Axis. Even with everything that happened after the end of the war, the Luftwaffe remains the proudest of the armed forces of the Reich. This knowledge, however, is of little comfort. The German Air Force was the personal playground of Hermann Göring, the man responsible for the current decadence of the Reich, and a large number of officers owe their rank to him. Despite his defeat, his political clout is still present, and it will take time and effort to remove it before any real reform can be passed without mass desertion or worse. Göring's influence, however, wasn't limited to the officers, but it covered even the doctrinal aspects of air combat. As of now, our air fleet is heavily unbalanced towards long-range bombers, the result of a decade-long bombing campaign over Russia and Western Africa, and even worse, due to the gargantuan costs of running such a meaningless operation, there weren't enough funds to develop new airframes to keep up with the new discoveries. As a result of this, the Luftwaffe is extremely outdated in both doctrines and equipment, despite its large numbers, and will most likely perform with abysmal results against any modern air force in the world. Mein Gott, what did Hermann do to the Luftwaffe? From decrepit wings, can we forge the Luftwaffe anew? So 15 more days before Ostland is done. Okay, so no more favors and old glory. Okay, no more favors. Actually, Wehrmacht reform outlook. Where can we see that? That'd be somewhere here. Social outlook per liberal. Fate of the East. I don't know where I can see see the outlook of the military. No more favors, pensions, green disguise, soldiers like any others, good tamed. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with these ones, no more favors. The Luftwaffe is a corrupt and self-serving institution far removed from the respectable and valiant Air Force founded in the wake of the Great War. They claim paramount importance in the hierarchy of the Reich, yet they have done little more than bomb defenseless Russian villages for the past decade. They are not what they should be, and pale in comparison to the might of the United States Air Force, their main rival. The day of reckoning has come for Goering's gang of preening officers and desk jockeys. We shall pick apart the Luftwaffe from the top down, trimming the fat and cutting out the rot until we have a loyal and professional Air Force. If every fat, worthless disciple of the Reichsmarschall has to be retired, imprisoned, or put against the wall and shot, so be it. So this lowers our daily political gain, regime stability decreases, but reformists cause benefits, and reforming the Luftwaffe will add additional malice to our political gain. But it's not such a biggie. We're swimming in political power, so it's not an issue at all. Okay, army experience is slowly creeping up by 0.48 per day. Naval experience, however, is really high. Oh god, we have 5 new ships here. I have completely missed that. Okay, so I'm gonna join these guys. We're gonna join the Drilling Navy. Okay, so you're actually going here because you guys are completely done. I don't think there's anyone here who could benefit from you. Yeah, we have everything pretty much done. Yeah, we have 2 battleships here, which I think we can retire if we put the 2 cruisers in there. And one of the light cruisers. So let's put you in this fleet, and I'm gonna retire Friedrich der Grosse and Hindenburg, 2 early battleships. We're gonna get rid of you and instead send those 2 ships. And this cruiser and destroyer, I think, could join these guys. Yep. So let's send them over there. And for that, I'm gonna retire 2 of these. Yeah, 38 and Vendelon, I think, can be retired instead. Good. And you guys need to drill. So the reform of the Navy is continuing, making me happy. I think the deficit has dropped a bit as well. Oh, we can lower the naval expenses. Yeah, the army expenses have just dropped even further. That's good. I think that we're getting and losing some of the old modifiers as they come. So that might be what's happening. Actually, some time ago we got some new generals. So I was wondering, Friedrich Hosing. This guy is definitely new. Barthold Maria Schenk Graf von Stauffenberg. Engineer. Career officer. Prevent strategist. Organizer and Panzerweider, huh? That's not gonna help. We could maybe split you guys, but... In the Shadow's wake, the office was small, yet well furnished with dark wood and posh rugs. Gallen's desk put them almost at opposite ends of the room, yet Vessel kept his voice low regardless. Felfa had indeed infiltrated Chornoville's group, and was aware of my presence in Ukraine, but he had no intention of ever contacting me. He was killed in a firefight. He was killed in a firefight with another group, mercenaries of some sort. Reinhardt took a drag of his cigarette. The corners of his mouth tightened ever so slightly, and you found it necessary to attempt to contact him, to risk his mission, a mission your bureau had no part in. For all you know, you led these men right to him. No, this was a coordinated pre-planned attack. I was lucky to even see him alive. Messer noticed the smallest twitch at Gavin, as Gavin responded. You spoke with him? Curious. No, but I overheard enough. He was a double agent. He had been feeding them information ever since he joined. Why? Reinhardt leaned over the desk and ground his cigarette into the crystal ashtray. You seem to forget who is debriefing whom, Herr Kätzchen. Gerhard internally grimaced at the all-too-forced code name. I do not like what you imply. Thought I was a traitor, and his treachery caught up with him. He looked pointedly at Vessel. You are not privy to the details of every operation this organization performed. I suggest you get used to this fact. Verflitzes Kätzchen glowered, though his face remained a mask of patience. As he wished. If Kleiner Fuchs wanted to play his cards close to his chest, so could he. He would stay in his lane, but where his bureau's lane went was his business. You are dismissed. Huh. So I guess that's the end. I wonder what would happen if we had chosen the other one. Home sweet home. The brisk air chilled through Mercer's worn coat. When the Germans gave it back to him 3 months ago, they clearly hadn't taken good care of it past few years. A few Reichsmark would have served him well, but to the surprise of no one, he only made enough to buy himself the barest amount of food possible. As his faint and worried frame entered through the door of the office, he could hear the roaring of the train engine and a whistle as it came to a stop. There too came a stop. There to pick up more of his skin, but not him. He had something to resolve. Mr. Vogel? Mercer asked, seeing the older German sitting on his chair and writing something of perk and eyebrow. Herr... his Polish was rusty as he looked up. What is problem? Mercer took a deep breath. Mr. Vogel, yesterday it came to light about my planned destination, to where I would permanently relocate to. Krakow? He asked, already feeling some of his anger boiling, but he kept it in. Surely this is a mistake. I was born in Gdansk. For a second's pause, did the German man look at him before sighing and shaking his head. Danzig, Mercer's frown became laced with irritation, is Greater Germanic Reich's territory. You are relocated to the biggest Polish city because it is a similar urban environment. Mercer's heart leaped to his throat. That's ridiculous. Gdansk is my home, more than any other city, even if it isn't within the borders of Poland itself, he began, already clutching his hands into fists subconsciously. Where can I ask for a transfer? You? Vogel looked at him like he was a fool. Ask? Blinder Dummkopf. Wie sagt man das nochmal? Ah! His gaze suddenly sharpened, and Mercer felt stricken with fear. These were the eyes of a man who had gone through this before, hadn't he? Please, Mr. Vogel. Word of advice, desperation clawed at Mercer's chest. Find your belongings, get to your train, it departs in 15 minutes, and use Danzig, modern spelling. Well, we're relocating them outside of the Reich. I guess that makes sense in a way, because they want to move the slave population outside of Germany. If you moved all of the slaves to Danzig and gave them freedom, then you have a huge Polish minority there, which can revolt, which can ask to join Poland. I mean, it's all politics. It's just so tiresome. Media manipulation, we don't need that. Okay, 100% stability. Divide Ostland. How far are we? Wait, that was so far iron, right? 8 days. Okay. And 7 days for the favors. That makes sense. Unternehmen Schwert report. Russia, Central Siberia. Army agents have successfully infiltrated the Commonwealth of Siberia. Agents informed the local garrison about a fictitious railway worker revolt, distracting them. From there, they used smuggled dynamite to sabotage multiple railways and a few armed plants. They then proceeded to meet at the extraction point for pickup. This should cause significant logistical issues for the government of Central Siberia. So they lose 0.1 GDP growth, 150 political power, 5 stability, and military professionalism drop. And we can do the same thing in the Far East. Okay, let's do it. It's a bit more of a depth here, but we'll be fine. We shall be fine. Iraq with Bagration. So no more favors are done. And in about a day, we should finish the investment into Ostland. The French state declared war on the French Republic. Oh God! France has collapsed. So the French state is paternalistic. Pierre Pujol. And we have Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, liberal. And there's fascist Raoul Salan. It makes sense to have the fascists. Leader of Organisation Armée. We'll see if we can. Okay, and here we go. So we can go with guiding hand or a firm chain here. I think we're gonna go with the guiding hand, as we mentioned, because that will cost us $250 million, but we will benefit from the GDP growth, and so will our puppets or allies. Guided states. Let's call them guided states. No matter how much we invest, Eastern Europeans will never trust us if we insist on holding their hand throughout the process of economic regeneration. True equality is a long way off, but we must work to present ourselves as a partner rather than a master. Germany will always be Europe's largest economy, but having the same amount of clout in legal terms will help foster trust with our new friends. Rather than maintaining German control over resources and heavy industry in the East, we should place these in the hands of a reliable local, wherever possible. Allowing for a strong degree of autonomy will give them the experience needed to become self-reliant and will demonstrate our good intention. No amount of whitewashing our economic dominance will give us that. So political power will lower, regime stability will lower, but reformist cause will benefit, and we will be granted to own some resources. Okay, I think that we will get some, and the benefit of GDP growth, that's fine. $250 million will be spent, but Poland, Ukrainian National Republic, Military Berserk Rusland, and one other, which I think is Ostland, their GDP growth will be increased by 0.55. So 21 days. And we can now divide Ostland. So in 2 days they're gonna be divided. The French Civil War and the bugs have been completed. Months ago, Pierre Pujol began his so-called War Against the 200 Families, an attempt by Pujol to reduce the power of industrialists and bankers within the French state. The disastrous mishandling of this war has led to a breakdown of government authority throughout the country. In this chaos, anti-government forces have risen up to seize the initiative. Soldiers from both the nationalist OAS and the democratic Resistance have seized vast swaths of land across France, leaving Pujard's government in control of just a fraction of its former territory. French citizens across the country are taking sides in the conflict, fighting against an uncertain future, fighting to ensure that France of their hopes and dreams does not die on the battlefield. In life and in war, death is the only certainty. What do we budget upgrade, huh? Well, we're gonna see about that. I was kinda hoping that we could intervene, but most likely we won't be able to. Oh, you have some state even here, okay. What's the strength in this conflict? You got, say, 12 divisions, got about 19, and you got 19. Well, it can go anyway, basically, at this point. So what's up with you? You should be divided. No, okay, you will be divided. Ah, I paused it. Okay. That's why it's not happening. So let's see. Okay, Republic of Belarus, National Conservatism, and Baltish Report, National Conservatism. No focus tree. No focus tree. So wait, let me see this so far. No, yeah, it's under economy. I was right there. Okay, Republic of Belarus has 1 billion, so it's one of the poorest states we have. And Baltish Republic got 3 billion. Okay, hopefully that's... Is that enough? Wonder... Weren't they higher? I thought they were higher together. Oh, but maybe I'm mistaken. Okay, 2 more ships. Admiral Hipper and a sub. So you go drill. You guys will drill as well. Let's end as the debt to GDP drops to 80%. It would be nice if it would drop to 79.9, but I guess that's too much to want. $45.23. So let's check it out. Yeah, 80.1. I was hoping that we would get to 79.9, but alas, it's not to be. Anyway, deficit has dropped significantly by an additional whole percent. That's good. That is good. So the next month might be better. And the guiding hands are going to be good. I think our trade might be growing, to be quite honest. Yeah, we get nothing from tariffs. Okay. Business tax is increasing. Yeah, revenue is definitely going up. So are expenses, but the deficit was near 29 billion, now it's 25. So things are looking up. Either way, thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode where we finally maybe, start with the army reform. Hopefully.